All right. Thanks for tuning in and listening to Cleve Loveland of Loveland Property and Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger from Cross Country Mortgage. Thanks for joining us on this beautiful Saturday. It is unbelievably hot out there. I hope you are getting lots of things done around the house. But in the meantime, maybe it's a great opportunity for you to go out and start shopping for a home or putting your home on the market. Cleve, tell me, is this a good time to list your home?
It is, but it's all a personal situation, Bruce. We are still in a seller's market. We've got about 5 months of inventory, which is probably the softest market we've had. It is the softest market we've had in 15 years as far as how many homes you have to look at. There's still some places where the home's gone in a couple of days with multiple offers. But this is when you get out there and look around, sellers are sitting on the market a little longer. They got a little more competition. They're more willing to give you some closing costs. So maybe you can buy your rate down, do a temporary buy down or a permanent buy down on your rate, get some closing costs and try and get that rate to the low sixes or high fives.
Yep.
And I just think the main thing I'm seeing, Bruce, is people are not getting the right advice on where to price their home and then how to react if you don't sell. And that's why I say only about half the homes out there are on the market. Excuse me, they're not in the market.
They're on the market.
And
they're not in the market.
You got 5 months that are on the market. Only about 2 months of them, 2 months supply, are in the market, priced right, ready to show and ready to go.
So you say it's a seller's market because of the amount of inventory. And that's how we judge whether we are a seller's market. But the behavior in most communities, not all, but in most communities, are behaving more like a buyer's market because sellers are more willing to work deals. Because in a true seller's market, sellers don't have to pay closing costs or give concessions for people. They don't need to. They've got enough buyers coming around to buy their homes. Why do they need to give up price or give up closing costs or make repairs? And now I'm going to tell you, we talk about things that are obstacles that are in your way. And you know how I feel about solar panels. Okay? You know how I feel about solar panels.
Same way I do.
Now, and I know solar panels. It's not that I don't like solar panels. I don't like what they're doing to people financially, because first of all, you're going to either buy them or you're going to lease them. Then every 15 years, you're going to have to remove them to put a new roof on.
Yep.
Now, then who's going to take them off?
The roofers do it for a hefty price.
Like where are they going to store them?
8 or 10,000.
Where are they going to store them?
That's a whole nother racket. Yeah.
And then who's going to reinstall them?
That's part of the $10,000. Yeah.
And then do any of them ever break when you take them off and store them and put them back on?
I don't know.
Of course they do.
Yep.
Now, I was talking to Tankersley. He said insurance companies don't like solar panels because they compromise the roof.
Yeah.
So they don't like them.
Yep.
Now, then you got to remove them. Now, I had one. You ever heard of a pace lien before?
No, you talked about this on
So
our
pace
show.
lien means that, and most of the time when you do a pace lien, it's because the builder put the solar panels in on all the houses in the community, and the lien is now paid in your property taxes. If you are considering buying a home from a builder or anybody that has a pace lien on it, don't buy it.
Yeah.
And here's why. You can't refi it.
Yep.
And if you do buy it, you got to get the pace lien to subordinate the first mortgages, and they don't subordinate.
Yep.
Period.
Yeah.
They don't subordinate. So you can never refinance to lower your rate. And if you sell, you have to pay the loan off to sell it.
Yep.
Don't do it.
Well, the problem with them that I've seen, especially the past couple of years, Bruce, is equity prices are climbing at a normal rate. We'll say 1 or 2 or 3% a year. And most people, they spend that 50, 60 grand, they finance 80% of it, 90% of it. And they might've gotten a tax rebate, which I think ends this year.
Yep.
And then there's not enough equity in the home for them to sell and get their money back out and not pay for it. Because buyers might pay, what I've seen, most buyers will pay for solar panels is about $5,000.
Yeah.
That's all they care about. And what's funny is I've seen some builders trying to include solar panels. They stop after a while because everybody'd rather have the bigger house or
they
the fancier,
stop if they're fancier master bath. Pace lien on the property, because that really screws the client royally. And you guys aren't being told that by these slick talking salespeople that work for these builders. If you think you're getting the best deal because you're going to a builder's lender, you're wrong. You're dead wrong. Now, a lot of them are going to do the great buy downs and you get lower rates, but you can't refinance if you've got these PACE liens on your property. You better be careful and you better find out what type of lien these solar panels actually have on it. So, you know what else I run into is high net worth people that are retired but don't have enough income and they want to buy a property. So, I've got a client right now, wonderful little lady. Love her to death. Her daughter, Casey's helping her. She's an attorney, but she went to Richmond American to buy a home and they would not qualify her for the home. But I can get her qualified for the home. But Richmond American's mortgage company couldn't do it. So I said, I will do the loan and I'll guarantee it. And they wouldn't pay her closing costs. So guess what? I switched her to a different builder.
Yeah, there you go.
Because they were an idiot.
Yeah.
And if you are really that greedy to keep that client because you wanted the mortgage more than you wanted to sell the house, where are your priorities? Same thing with Stanley Martin Homes.
Yeah.
They did the same thing to one of my clients. And I'm going to tell you something. I switched them. They wouldn't pay the closing costs by using me. So I switched them and I got them a house and I'm closing the loan. So listen, these in-house mortgage companies are generally not in your favor. So that's why at Trinity, I don't belong to Trinity. I am their approved lender. You could shop and go anywhere you want. I have to be competitive to keep that business. So I'm competitive to keep that business. You want a great mortgage, you call the loan arranger. I'm the largest retail lender in the country. I'm in your backyard. I've been in the mortgage business for 35 years, and you can call or text me right now at 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com. You can reach Cleve Loveland, my friend here, Cleve Loveland, the voice of real estate.
407-352-8118. If you need to sell a house, buy a house, or you have properties you need managed, I'll take that hassle off your hands.
Yep. So if you are high net worth but low income, I can convert net worth into income, where a lot of mortgage companies just can't do that. So if you've got a good retirement account, you don't need to spend all that retirement money to put it down to qualify for a house. You call the loan arranger and I'll get you fixed up. And we'll make sure that we put you in touch with the right builder if you want to buy a builder. And Cleve Loveland can represent you for any builder in the state of Florida, for that matter.
That's right.
And if you want to buy or refinance out of state, I lend in all 50 states.
Well, that client you're talking about is one of our customers, one of my property management customers, and she's downsizing and she's moving to be closer to the kids. So we got her rentals turned around. I got more rent out of them, got them cleaned up. Tenants, Bruce, I get a kick out of seeing tenants squirm, and they know when there's a manager coming in. They love to tell me what's wrong with the property. And then when they get the letter saying, hey, by the way, your rent's going to market rent. You've been at $1,400. Market is $1,900. Oh, who the first person they call? The old landlord. They call the landlord going, oh God, this manager's horrible. Like I told him, I said, block their number. Don't call them. I'll call them. I'll deal with it. Because funny? I said, all right, so maybe we go a little less than 1,900. We go to 1,800, but this is the new sheriff in town. And this is your investment property should pay you money each month, Bruce. And I see so many people not doing their job, keeping the rents up or putting family members in a house or the wrong tenant up front. That can be,
those are the two biggest mistakes that people make.
Family and not screening the tenant properly.
Rent to family and make sure that you are at market rent or slightly under market rent.
Bruce, I'm looking at some good numbers here. Interest rates are literally exactly where they were a year ago.
Isn't that funny?
It is. And then, but the good news is we've got a few less sales, but the number of homes coming on the market is lower than it was last summer. So that is good. So that means our inventory should start to go down.
If it's good for a seller.
Good for a seller, but I think our market right now, I wouldn't call it healthy. I'd call it okay.
I'd call it okay.
I'd call it languishing. And not that I want first-time buyers to be priced out by 20 offers.
But it's not lackluster.
That's it. And it's different for everybody out there. Like you talked about that person in Bay Hill looking for a lakefront. They can probably almost punch their ticket on what they want.
Sure, they
want to buy something lakefront for $1.5 million. But if you're a first-time home buyer trying to be in Dr. Phillips, you're going to be in the fives, and you probably got to move pretty quick. So all these things come into play. You need to have the right person helping you with that, and make sure that when you pick a buyer agent and you sign that buyer broker contract, you've also got a termination, $0 to terminate that person. and then it can be ended with just written notice.
Make sure that when you sign a contract with a real estate agent, that there's an exit clause that you don't have to pay them if they're not doing their job. If you came to me for a mortgage and I ran you and I got you fully approved, I underwrote it and everything, and then you turned around at the last minute and said, you know what, I'm going to a different lender, you do not owe me 1 red cent.
Yep.
Not 1 red cent. Same with
That never
Cleve.
happens.
It won't happen because I'm not going to let the deal fall through the cracks, and I'm going to make sure that my rates are always competitive.
Yeah.
I know. Matter of fact, when you come to me for a rate, I will literally do a Zoom call with you and we will shop your rate on the open market, and you can see other competitors and see where I am. I'll even pull up Rocket Mortgage and I'll show you Rocket Mortgage right on the screen. If I can't match or beat Rocket Mortgage, then dump me.
It's time for you just to go out to sea.
Time for me to go out
just
to
float out
pasture.
to sea. That's right.
Right.
Go out
But
to
I'm
pasture.
not going anywhere.
All right.
407-250-9144. That's my phone number for the Lone Ranger. 407-250-9144, or WeBringYouHome.com. What's your number there?
407-352-8118 for Loveland Properties, or go to cleveloveland.com.
That's the way you do it. All right. We got just a couple of more minutes in this last segment here. And so we talked about solar panels. We talked about the market. We talked about interest rates likely coming down. If you want to refinance and you want to drop your rate, get on my VIP list. If you're trying to do debt consolidation, now is a great time to do it. You can reach me. I can help you. I can help you in all 50 states. So can Cleve. We can refer you to an agent in California. Not that anybody would want to go to California.
I don't have too many people moving
or
that way.
anywhere, any state I can refer
I've
you
been moving
to.
a lot of people to, the South, Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, South Carolina. You can still, in the rural areas, still get a great house for $200,000.
Yes.
And so I've got a couple people downsizing, heading that way, and I got them a great agent. You know, it's sad, Bruce. I still have to call. If I don't personally know somebody in that city, I still have to call 3. Say, I have a buyer coming into your town at $300,000. I'll have their house sold in the next 2 months, and they need an agent to help them. I'll make that phone call 3 times to 3 different people. I'll get 1 call back.
Isn't that incredible?
And then 1 might call me about 5 days later. So it's amazing. There's no low bar in real estate where people get kicked out unless they actually commit a felony.
And there should be in mortgages too.
Because all these virtual brokerages don't care how many homes are sold. They just try and get as many under their umbrella as they can, and then hope they're just banking on we're going to get $500 off of each sale. Yeah. And there's no sales manager. There's no boss down the hallway they can go talk to about how to get this closed. What's their ideas to get this done? It's just really, really the Wild West out there sometimes.
I agree. So, and listen, I'm doing tons of transactions in Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, believe it or not, Georgia. So you want to buy in another state, I can help you. Anywhere in the United States you want to go, Alaska, we can even help you in Puerto Rico. 407-250-9144, or WeBringYouHome.com for the Lone Ranger. Cleve Loveland, the voice of real estate here in Orlando, can be reached at
407-352-8118 or cleveloveland.com.
All right. So we're in the dog days of summer. It's hotter than Hades out there, but school's getting ready to start. It starts now. You got to get into a house. You want your house in and you want your kids in that right school. You better call right now, right?
Yep.
Or else you're not going to get that kid in that school.
You might be commuting for a little bit. You might have to show the registrar your contract for sale in that zip code. So
that's right. All right. So listen, I want to thank everybody for joining us today, Cleve Loveland and Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger. And if you have any questions now or in the future, Cleve and I are always here to help guide you in the right direction, point you in the right direction for services like roofers or insurance companies or CPAs or financial planners. Whatever you need, we got it. We can help you. 407-250-9144 or WeBringYouHome.com, or Cleve Loveland at 407-352-8118. The voice of real estate. Have a great weekend.